Hey, what's up guys, Overture here, and I wanted to make this video sort of a review for KIllzone Shadowfall because it was a game that I bought out of the gate for the PS4 when it first came out, and it was a game that I had high hopes for. It was a game that I figured, if I got bored with Call of Duty or Battlefield, it was a game that I can sort of go to, just take my mind off it and, just enjoy. And I want to talk a little bit about the single player, but I want to mostly focus on the multiplayer because let's face it, that's what you guys care about. That you don't buy a shooter game for the single player, although it does help if the single player is good. The multiplayer is the bread and the butter, what you want to see. So anyways, about the single player, great backstory. It has a very good theme to it. It seems very interesting, and it's something that I can get into. There's this enemy force that sort of moved in, and they're taking over your world, and you sort of have to go against them, but then you realize that they're not totally evil, and you have to work with one of the evil people, and it goes along the lines of that. And it's honestly, it was good in theory, but it was very, very poorly executed. It wasn't a game that I found was enjoyable. The story was kind of boring. I found myself moving, trying to go to the next objective and getting lost, not knowing what to do at all. Even with the objective, being able to be easily seen, it wasn't clear to me what I was supposed to do. It wasn't an interesting game to me. But anyways, let's move on to the multiplayer aspect of the game. And I know I made a video saying that you should try and enjoy games, and I usually enjoy most of the games that I play, but I gotta be honest, KIllzone was a pretty big disappointment to me. I wanted it to be really good. I really did. I wanted to enjoy it, but when I moved on to the multiplayer aspect of it, I couldn't. There was all these aspects of the game that it didn't feel fun to me. Like, Battlefield 3, how it wasn't good because it felt like you were moving slow compared to Call of Duty. You were kind of like moving through water. Like it didn't move correctly. Like you didn't have clear motion. And the same thing is kind of like with Killzone. You feel like you're running with weights on and you're not going as fast as you should be going. You're kind of like waddling around. I will give them some positive thing, though. The colors and the graphics of this game are amazing. It is a very beautiful, very well-polished shooter game. All the colors are vibrant, and it's a very nice, welcome change to the FPS genre than, let's say, browns, blacks, grays, like all the boring colors that you see in, usual FPSs. But color is just one aspect. It's not something that's going to draw you to keep playing a game. It's one of those things that enhance your playing experience, but it doesn't, sort of start the experience, in my opinion. And the other thing is, I have my sensitivity turned all the way up on my controller, and I still feel like I can't turn fast enough to shoot the enemies. It's not a polished game, in my opinion. There's so many things that they need to work on. They need to work on the pacing. It feels like you're moving slow. The menus, oh my god, it's so hard to navigate the menus and see what you're supposed to do. Even if you look at the scoreboard, it shows everybody in a list. You don't know what team you're on, who's on your team, or anything like that. It's just, everything is confusing. Everything is jumbled up together. It's hard to understand what's going on the screen, and that's a big turnoff for me. I like to be able to see what's going on, know what I'm doing, and finding the score and how I'm doing in a game it shouldn't be something you have to look for. It should be easily available for you to see, and if you're doing good or not. In this, there's not a good way to see it. And in Team Deathmatch, if you want to see your score, you look at the green bar on top of the screen, and you see if yours is a little bit more than the enemy's team, then you're doing a little bit better. There's no numbers saying how good you're doing, and I don't think that's a very effective way to demonstrate what your score is. Another big issue with this game is there seems to be some sort of input response time lag. Like, if you were to reload in the game, there is a second difference between you pushing the button to the animation of you actually reloading. And if the driving point between you having a big clip to winning the match to losing is tied to a second between you pushing the button, that's a big negative thing in my opinion. Almost game breaking. I like to be able to have the response time of hitting the button and it automatically happens. And if that doesn't happen for me, then obviously something is wrong. And dying because it's not your fault is a big issue with games. If you're dying because something is not your fault, then you're going to get turned off of the game, and that's a big issue. But anyways, that's basically all the gripes I have with this game. It's a beautiful game. I just can't stay into it. I get mad because I feel like the game is moving slowly, and when I'm pushing a button, it's not doing what it's supposed to be doing right off the bat. It's a game that needs to be worked on, and I know that there was a lot of issues with the older Killzones. I heard some bad things about it. I went into this thinking, maybe they're going to do something different for the PS4. They're going to change it up, make it better since it's a new console, but unfortunately, the same thing still applied. The game is not something worth playing. If it's an FPS you're looking for and you don't have a lot of money to spend, I recommend you walking away from this and trying for something else. I would much rather play Call of Duty Ghosts than play this game. But anyways, this is Over Your Soul. If you like the video, please subscribe, like all that good stuff. Have a good day.